Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome to Frostpunk 2. Huge shout out to 11-Bit Studio for providing me early access so I can create some awesome content for you guys. I am incredibly excited. If you're incredibly excited, you can support the channel right away by subscribing, by liking the video, or leaving comments in the comment section. Now, I will say that this had a prologue that we're not going to watch. I'm going to get straight into the game because, well, you can see the prologue itself, the intro cinematic and whatnot, and then the prologue is just like a tutorial basically. So we're going to go straight into the Legacy of New London with week 1. We're going to start right from the beginning. I have played a decent bit into the game, probably about 150, 200 weeks or so, just to kind of get a feel on what we need to do. So I'm going to kind of treat this a little bit like a tutorial in a strange way, but not so in-depth that you're going to know absolutely everything as like an ultimate beginner's guide. But regardless of that, let's go ahead and dive right in. Hope you're excited. I am too. We survived the end of the world. Now what? I gotta say the graphics in this game are stellar. I absolutely love it, and it looks so good. The old captain is dead. New London is weak. Food is low. Overpopulation looms. Coal is running out. We've got a lot we need to do. People yearn for a future we're dreaming of, but is it the same future for all? Keep the city together. Or hold its hand on its deathbed. It's pretty drastic and dire, I'm not gonna lie. Chapter 1, Scraping the Barrel. So this game does have multiple chapters in it. Not sure how far we'll get into it. Hopefully you'll hang around for the entire thing. The captain is dead as he weakened growing divisions, brought city maintenance to a grinding halt. Now, New London is left to suffer the consequences. As steward, it's your charge to lead, but you must prove yourself. The overcrowded city is low on resources. Use this warmer year to build more shelter, secure coal, and power the generator back on. Let's get to work. So first, here we're going to take a look at the screen. If you haven't played the beta, or if you weren't able to see any videos, you didn't want to spoil it or anything, here is a basic rundown of everything that we have. So we now have an overall population, which is literally the population of New London at its core. We have the workforce. 60% of the population is able to work for now. We can modify that based on different laws and things that we can pass, a little bit like Frostpunk in the original, but on a much more macro scale rather than a micro scale. And then of course, if the workforce gets sick, we're going to have sick people here. Now what we have as a currency are what called heat stamps. You can see here we get 16 per week. We can use these to enact different things within the different people groups down here at the bottom. We use these to help pay for buildings and things of that nature. So it is kind of a lower income thing at the moment, but obviously as your population grows, you'll be able to move along and create more. We have prefabs. Now prefabs are obviously a prefabricated resource that you'll need in order to build buildings, to do things of that nature. The same kind of goes for cores. Cores are a lot more specialized. Much as they are rare in Frostpunk, they are rare resources in Frostpunk 2. We'll see how we can use them here in the future. Now, right here, we have our heat source. So this is much like it is in Frostpunk as well. Right now, we have 70 demand for heat, and we have to meet that. We can meet that through oil. We can meet that through coal. We can modify that through laws, etc. This is our coal is absent right now. We can stockpile 50,000 of it. And we'll hopefully get to stockpiling here in the future. We'll have to see. Much like heat demand, we have a shelter demand. All of these things are now demands rather than quantifiable things in a sense, basically. So we need a lot of shelter. We also need a lot of food. We currently have 35,000 food stockpiled. It'll last for 55 weeks. So we have 55 whole weeks to get through this to try and get a positive. We have our materials. Our materials, you'll see, are a resource sprinkled throughout our map that we have to build a resource to extract it from. We can then use those materials to make things like goods or other resources like prefabs. So keep in mind, we do want to have a high material increase, but you can see right now that it's full. It'll all work out in the future. Goods are a little more of a refined resource. They require an industrial district in order to manufacture. And you can see there that we have 50 available. We need 30 as a demand. We're going to rock on over here to guard squads. These are kind of law enabled, basically. They'll help reduce crime or at least keep it a little more contained. We have Frostland teams. Eventually, we'll be able to explore beyond New London, much like you do in regular Frostpunk, but again, on a much more macro scale. And then obviously tutorials, we have our current temperature, which we need to increase that real quick. Never mind, it looks like we're stuck with Celsius. I can only change that in the main menu, and I'm not about to go back and do it again. And then we can see, much like anything, we have our warmer seasons, our colder seasons, things of that nature. Down here on the bottom, or actually on the top, we have 5 sets of different things that will affect the tension of the city. So we have hunger. Currently it's absent, which is good. Disease is absent, which is also great. Cold is notable because we again have a lot of shelter we need to make. Squalor, this is dependent on your proximity of housing next to industrial or extraction districts. And then of course crime, significantly increased by goods scarcity. So we want to do that, but it is decreased by guard squads. Down here on the bottom, we do have a lot of things, and we're going to get rolling pretty darn quick. Frost break areas, we are going to work on this. When we bring up this, we can see where we can go and what we can do. So for instance, everything is a hex base now. So we are going to try and get to our coal deposits as much as we can. And then once you have completed your 8 hexes, you can hit break and it will start breaking through the frost so we can build a district on there. And again, as you saw, we have a whole bunch of different resources, materials, food, we have coal. I think, oh yeah, that's right. We have our teams, which will allow us to get our Frostland teams. And we do have some extraction areas as well of things like prefabs. So it's a pretty cool thing. I enjoy that a lot. We do have the ability to construct some hubs. So you can see here, we have different hubs within districts. This allows us to construct our districts and then any specialty buildings, such as a council hall, research institute, other buildings that we may unlock in the near future. Next, we have our populations, our different communities that we have and factions. So right now we have the Frostlanders, which have their own unique sets of different goals and objectives and things that they want to fight for. So in this case, fighting against the cold is futile, will not give in to hubris. The frost makes steel bitter. We will adapt, even if it requires sacrifice. We have the Stalwarts, which are currently have a big faction leading. Not as much as the Frostlanders, though. And then you have the New Londoners. So we only have 3 right now, but we will get more and more. This obviously is a good indicator of the tension. If it gets crazy, it'll start bubbling like mad, and it's really, really cool. And then the overall trust. As you can see here, we're neutral at the moment, and we want to try and get that higher so that way we can experience some good positives from it. Tradition, this is where our current city is leaning in terms of laws. Tradition, merit, and progress or adaptation are the 2 different sets, 3 different sets that kind of define our city based on what we are to do, and that will affect our relations with the different factions as well. And then last but not least, we obviously have our stuff over here. So we need to frost break and find a shallow coal seam. We're working on that right now. We need to turn on the generator. We need income for that. And we need to construct new housing districts to address the lack of shelters. So we're going to go here. We can see here that the construction of a housing district costs 200 workforce, 40 heat stamps, 200 prefabs, and it soaks up 200 workforce, increases demand, but the output is 20 shelter. So we would need to theoretically build 4 of these. However, we can't expand housing districts to accommodate more houses. Now, one of the other cool things is different districts will have synergies with other districts. So for instance, the housing district, if we were to be sheltered from the wind, we would see that, okay, cool, we get plus 20 heat generation. which is super duper helpful. So we're going to go ahead, pop that baby out here as well. And then we need a second one. So we're going to go ahead and be sheltered from the wind here as well. And then I'm going to actually pop up and go this way. We're almost done frost breaking through that. Sweet. Which means we now have access to this coal seam. And we're going to go ahead and rock it just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and frost break through this other coal seam. We need to be a little strategic in where we go for sure. Try and maximize the amount that we can frost break through. There's a little bit of a strategic puzzle-like element to this. And of course, we're not going to wait. We're going to let it go ahead and frost break all the way. There we go. Awesome. We are now producing 120 coal. Our demand is 130 though. So automatically we're still in the negative. Captain is dead. Coal is gone. The generator's off. We're doomed. We're not doomed. Because we can expand the district for one additional building slot. You can see we have an empty building slot there. And we could, for instance, go boom, boom, boom. And that is going to expand the amount of coal that we have available to us. There we go. You can see we now have a net positive. And so what we can do, we can go here and we can finally turn on our generator. Scraping the barrel. Good work, Steward. Good work. Excuse me. We have secured a new coal deposit. It's part of the last vein in New London. There are still some deposits left, but they won't last long. We'll need to improve our mining to use it efficiently, but the city's communities are voicing different ideas. We need to decide whose ideas are worth pursuing. Nice. All right, we need to expand the housing district, build a research institute, research a new idea, and construct the newly researched building in the extraction district. Sweet. So you can see here that we are still barely in the positive. We are starting to stockpile. I'm going to go ahead and build another extraction district. It looks like we're going to need more space, so that's fine. By the way, construction does consume things, but it's not too drastic that I feel it's unnecessary. We're going to use that to kind of get to our old way station here and hope that that helps. So what do we need to do? Expand a housing district. Much like we can do with the other one, we can do it here. Now, we already have shelter from the wind, but I do believe if I were to go over here, nope, it's the same. Cool. So if we were to build these districts right next to each other, you would see that we would actually get a bonus again to produce more heat. Now, we're not going to do that now. We could expand this in the future. So I think we probably will doing that. But for now, we'll be okay. There we go. And then we're already frost breaking through that. We need to build a research institute, which can only come from an expanded district, by the way. All right. The generator wakes, a child is born. People gather around the generator tower as it wakes with a thundering shudder and bestows heat on us yet again. This is the heart of the city, our last line of defense against the cold, our first hope for a future, any future. Steward, there's a couple who says their first child, a daughter, was born at the exact moment the generator sprang to life again. They call her Lily May. They ask that you bless her. You gave us hope back. Thanks to you, our child may yet have a future ahead. Very well, Lily May. May your light be warm and the winds spare your paths. Awesome. So what we need to do now, we need to go over here to our special buildings, build a research institute. Again, 400 workforce, 100 heat stamps, and 50 prefabs. It's quite a hefty task. No doubts about it. Can we expand? We can expand yet again. So we're going to go ahead and do that while we can. Boom, boom, boom. Sweet. And that should honestly put us into at least the positive, if not flatlined even. So that's good. Sweet. A small crowd gathers outside the new research institute, arguing about how to exploit the last coal veins. The stalwarts and New Londoners want us to lean on machine-powered, but the Frostlanders would have us pursue a more frugal solution. They would never display such discord under the captain's rule. You have to choose who to trust. All right, so we're going to show our options. We need new ideas to move forward. However, different communities may propose diverging answers to the same issue. Choosing a community will improve your relations with that community. So this is one of the cool new features of the game that kind of adds a little bit of strategic layer to it all. We have 3 different communities, each with their own ideas. Sometimes they will align. Sometimes they won't. So if we were to do a dust coal mine, which is currently 43% of the city, you can see there it would be more of a workforce, but would increase the coal output. Now, disease is slightly increased in a 20 material demand, whereas the squalor is increased in a 60 material demand. So I'm not sure why we want to do blasting coal mine, when it definitely seems like the Frostlanders have a good idea on how that all works. Now, again, a little bit less of a workforce with these guys, but the dust coal mine would have a significant material demand, less material demand. We're going to go and roll with that one. A little bit more expensive in terms of workforce, but I think we'll be okay. All right, so you can see here we're at -10. We need to chill out for a little bit while everything gets researched. We could go ahead and work on a central hall. Yeah, let's go and work on a council hall. A council hall will allow us to enact laws and things of that nature. The council gathers for the first time. We can vote on new laws. All right. Anticipation fills the air as the council opens. The captain ruled with a firm hand, but those times died with him. Now the communities of the city want their say. The stalwarts maintained order on behalf of the captain and adhered what they claimed was his vision, progress, merit, and reason. The New Londoners and Frostlanders clash over our survival strategy, though neither has a firm stance. Then there are those who view the stalwarts with contempt for their role in New London's history, but they keep to the shadows for now. All right, your first decision is we didn't handle the coal crisis. We're a little bit ahead. I didn't realize that. We're going to open the session anyways. And this is one of my favorite screens ever. It's such a cool indicator of Frostpunk and its just stance. Oh, I love it. All right, so when you return the council in the future, you'll be able to propose new laws. Yes. For now, a special vote needs to happen. The communities have to accept you as their leader. If you fail, end of your role. There and there. So this is a vote of confidence. So we need a vote of 51 out of 100 in order to make anything pass. And so right now, there's only 22 delegates that are guaranteed for. There are 13 that are guaranteed against. Now, I could simply vote right now, and the hesitance could swing it either way. I need 29 delegates to vote for me, and I don't think it's going to happen. Currently, I'm tolerated. We're not anywhere close. So what we're going to do, we're going to negotiate. And I think this would pretty much happen anyways. And so we can see of the factions that 45 New Londoners and Frostlanders would be willing to negotiate. 12 stalwarts would be willing to negotiate. So we're definitely going to rock with the larger factions. We're going to get with the New Londoners. We're going to vote for, which means they will be guaranteed to vote for the law in the next vote. And then we have to agree to a set of terms that we are okay with. So that would mean enacting the law of a new development effort, which could be done. Or we could research the building's mechanized sawmill. It's a massive sawmill loading frozen wood directly into mulching machines. Or we could say we will guarantee the research of automated logistics base. So I think a sawmill, we do have frozen sawmill or frozen things. Can I get out of this? So for instance, if we were to look here, there's fertile soil. There's a deep frozen forest. Is this another frozen forest? Deep melting drill building. I'm just curious if we need to go after this or not. 100 million wood though. That is wild. Okay, well, let's go ahead. Get out of that. Let's go to here. So we're going to negotiate. New Londoners. I'm thinking we still need the drill thing. I think we're going to go with something we know we can do. So this will be the city development effort, which means main district produces a small amount of prefabs. We're going to say we're going to enact that. And so you can see now the 4 is 53. So we guaranteed had the vote of confidence. And then one of the coolest aspects of the game, I think, is the lighting of the lanterns to show off who is for and who is against.
The proposed law has been approved.
There we go. So that means we will have to vote for that law in the near future. And then also, I love the little insights into the people here. It's good to have you back, old chap. It's a terrible fright to have you switched off. You're more than just a heat source to us, you know? To us, you're a symbol of what we should be. Unbending, unyielding fortitude. May we all stand so bold against the frost. The generator is revered and respected by the stalwarts, which means we should be able to get some cool things going. All right, Dust Coal Mine is being proposed by the Frostlanders. And we have 2 weeks until we need to be able to pass development effort. So we need to do that. We need to remember that that's available to us. All right, so if we were to go here, we can see now that we have an extraction of a dust coal mine. We have everything we need for it. The output is 150 additional coal. So we're going to go ahead and rock that, and that should put us well above. Sweet. A lack of common rules among our people can lead to trouble, but as the council debates the future of the city, all are concerned about the day our last coal deposit runs out. We must explore the Frostland for more sources of fuel, or else the city will have no future. All right, so we need to find more fuel. We need to build a logistics district, on an old way station and find a permanent source of fuel. Cool. So what we're going to do, I do notice that there are multiple way stations. And so do we have the ability to see the outside yet? We don't. That's fine. What we're going to do, we are going to start working on that. But I do want to start addressing things like our material surplus, which is going down steadily. We still need to address our food surplus, which is also going down steadily. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to creep on towards this place over here. Oh, I have to wait for that to be done. No worries there. We can actually, there's other things that we can do, such as start expanding out towards these boyos. So that way we have a good, healthy expansion area. We're going to go this way. Sweet. All right, food district. This is one of the cool things. We can expand this way. I'm going to go here. And then what we will be able to do is build a housing district, and look at that. Look at the advantage that we get. We get the double heat here. Oh yeah, absolutely perfect. There we go. Now you can see we have a positive. We actually have a surplus, which is going to help us a lot. Now this only cranked out very little food, which is fine. We can build and expand as necessary. We still need to do more frost breaking. Come on, can you get us there? Not quite. We'll get there in another set of frost breaking once that's done. All right, we have a colder season as well, which means our demand is going to be a lot more. That's okay. I get it. I get it. And then we're going to push out this way so we can get that waypoint. Now, what we really should need is another extraction thing, mainly for coal, because as you can see, we're about to hit another colder season, and we really need that, and it just popped up. We almost got that solution, but it's okay. It's not the biggest deal in the world. There we go. We'll be good there. And we can also pass city development effort. So if we go into here, you can see it's already laid out for us. This is community service. Current right now, we have no common rules. We could do an expedition support. Expedition time is slightly decreased by aiding the expeditions. Everyone support the production of prefabs, producing a small amount of prefabs. Or heat pipe watch. Heat demand is decreased. Or service exemptions. And heat stamp income is slightly increased. We agreed that we would vote for this. And you can see we already have the support for it. The law has passed. Sweet. Relations with New Londoners improve, and the trust improves as well, which is all the things that we wanted to see. Cindy's pa went and got her governors, like she's going to be a duchess or something. Not on our watch. We roughed up the little person. All right. Ferguson's boys will learn this too. If they try and wife us again, we'll pull razors and say we cut out their eyes. It'll be good fun. But what we want is a proper rumble. Short blades only. Come on, who wants to play? All right, and this is a kid, 12 years old. The lack of law regulating childhood is causing tension to rise in the city. All right, well, as you can see, crime is going to start oozing its way out. Disease is minor, but it is stable. So something to consider, something to think about as we move forward. We really need to keep our minds on that. We also need more food because we are very quickly running out of time. Let's see, I can't reach them. We can get one set, and then I think I could get a frost break, which would really help us. Awesome. We're in the positive with food, but we are majorly losing a ton of materials every single day, and then our goods are not doing great either. We're gonna have to figure that out pretty quick. Well, what we can do now is we can build our logistics, so that way we can get the old way station up and running, and then potentially find a permanent source of fuel. All right, feral children. Still 5 children are dead and dozens lay wounded after 2 large youth gangs met up for what they call a rumble, short blades only. Most of the children were armed with knives. The fighting escalated. As the parents of the deceased mourn, many insist these children should not have been left unattended. We're going to resolve the issue. Yeah, we're just going to wait for our next session and regulate childhood. And we could do that through various laws there. But as for us, we need 20 heat and 50 materials and a bigger workforce. All right, so we're actually out of workforce availability at the moment. So that sucks. We should be able to get some more in. Our population is rising steadily. Okay, good. Sweet. Logistic district has been built. We can survey the lands and find a source of fuel. Nice. I love this interface. It looks so good. All right, so it's telling us we need to go there, but let's look here. Makeshift shelters. Overpopulation and dwindling fuel reserves forced many residents of New London to take refuge in these temporary shelters built around a small hot spring. Its inhabitants wait for conditions to improve. We'll go and take them in. It's going to require 5 of our Frostland teams, but we get 2,600 New Londoners. All right, we're going to go and super fast forward. Sweet. Now we can go over to our Frozen Bay. Over 30 years ago, the Imperial Exploration Company landed here to build the region's generators. A few hastily dismantled piers still stick out of the ice, a faded reminder of their short-lived purpose. Oh, man. If you played any of the DLCs from Frostpunk before, you'll know that this is from the, something Autumn. This is where they were building them. That was such a good DLC. I loved everything about it. Threat level safe, possible findings, Frostland dwellers. Let's go ahead and launch it. 15 weeks, 16 days. All right, they're going to launch that. We're going to get back into the city. We have a ton of people here, but as you see, they consumed all of the shelter that we had, plus some. So what we're going to do, we're going to get some extraction. We're going to pull these guys so we can start extracting that prefab. And then we're also going to start working on our district here. Can I build another one, or should I frost break a few more areas? I think I should. Boom. All right, the new count has revealed significant growth in our population. Some attribute the rise to an influx of settlers, others to births outnumbering deaths. Whatever the cause, we've adjusted our calculations and we got 1,600 more people in the city. We've got a lot to work on. Let's go ahead and expand. Boom, boom, boom. It's not what we necessarily wanted, but that's okay. Alrighty then. Let's go ahead. Oh, we can't build another housing district because we need stamps. Oh, goodness gracious. Scarcity of goods drives people to acts of crime. Yeah, we definitely need to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and work on the childhood. So we currently have 2 options. We can have a family apprenticeship. All children must work alongside their relatives, or mandatory school, in which case research speed is increased, but the upkeep per capita is slightly decreased. I don't see that as a positive, or I don't see that as a negative, but they see it as a negative. Yeah, we'll do family apprenticeship. Now, as you can see there, we still need to negotiate. The Frostlanders are willing to negotiate, but that still only puts us at 50 if they were to come into there. So once again, we're going to go with the Frostlanders or New Londoners. And then the community, the New Londoners get to choose the next law. That's super easy. Then if it gets downvoted, it's not my fault. It's theirs, basically. So let's go and rock with that. Nice. And it passed with flying colors. Once again, trust rises. That's exactly what we need to see. That's what we need to hope for. And you can see now we also have our surplus is running out. We need to expand, but it requires 50 heat stamps, of which we don't have. All right, infectious agents, the first crack. Stewart, during a routine medical examination, a small group of Frostlanders refused to be assessed. These checkups are relics of years past when a cough could endanger the city. That's gone now. We've adapted. No point continuing this invasion of privacy. Stalwarts maintain that regular physicals help ensure the safety of our workers. It's vital we monitor our citizens' health. We've had epidemics in the past. We can't allow another one. All right, so we could ban them. The subgroup of Frostlanders will support the decision, but we lose relations with New Londoners and Stalwarts, or the subgroup of Frostlanders will oppose and relations improve for the sake of safety. No one can afford to be bashful. No, we need to allow mandatory checkups 100%. And you can see right now that our relations with them are very favorable. That means they will pretty much vote for us if they can. everything that makes sense. The Frostlanders, they are still neutral with us. It's fine. We'll be okay. Oh wow, 128 weeks at the current rate of coal. Alrighty then, we should probably figure that out pretty darn quick. And we are going to figure it out pretty darn quick because we have our expedition is about to be ready. All right, cold has risen. People may die or suffer frostbite. Tension is high. I'm working on providing both of those. But we have our first expedition foray into the frozen bay, which looks terrifying. What do we have over here? Community of Frostlanders are eking out a pitiful living off moss and small fish. We're going to come back later. I can't handle them right now. In a cave near the bay, we found a disturbing sight. Bodies in sturdy Frostland gear laid neatly side by side and left to freeze, with black oil markings over their closed eyes. A ghastly burial ritual. A map we found suggests they were heading to an old machine somewhere by the desolate coast. A machine would require a source of fuel. We should investigate. Absolutely. Okay. The desolate coast. I mean, it's got oil right there in the darn graphic. It's got to be there. This looks like there might be another city. What about over here? There's the gorge. The foothills looks like another city. Mountains looks like we may get a good source of wood. We're going towards the desolate coast, though. We could find oil, prefabs, or cores. Oh, I see. Coal. Frostland dwellers, cores, prefabs. Ahaha. Much as we thought. Nothing guaranteed there. Yeah, no, we're definitely going here. Let's go ahead and launch that expedition. 17 weeks. Let's get to it. And then we have something here. All right. Stockpiles of food has run out. Okay. We are in a pickle and a half, my friends. We can expand. That won't necessarily solve everything, though, because we need to be able to move beyond that. And we do have... Okay, sweet. We have food extractors there, but again, heat stamps are our biggest holdback at the moment. And you can see we actually... the unmet demand for goods is causing a huge issue here. So what we're going to do is we are going to... Oh, my word. We have so many things we have to do to make this all work. All right, this district has fallen into disrepair. We are going to fix it because we need to extract everything we can. And then here, you can see we can make prefabs or we can make production of goods. So we're going to definitely do a production of goods. And what we could do, our trust is so high at the moment that we could pull some emergency shifts, I think. I don't know that that's necessarily worth it, but it might be just for the interim until we can figure out what else to do. So we are low on food now. Let's go ahead and build another food district, which does mean another housing district. But again, we can't really do that because, well, we don't have enough. Heat stamps. We're trying to balance everything we can, but man alive, we only have 20 prefabs per week. My word. For years, suggesting anything against the captain meant close scrutiny from stalwarts. But despite the BS looming from their bloody speakers, we managed to find our own way. Now we have a council. Council has inspired people to suggest new ideas. All right, we now have the Pilgrims as a neutral new voice. They form a resilient, spirited community held together by the bonds of tradition. They dislike city development effort. Well, that's fine. Their manifest as adaptation, equality, and tradition. Unlock deploy guides. Experienced pilgrims with deep knowledge of the frost will guide scout teams. Cool. Good relations perk scouts volunteers, which provides Frostland teams as well. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Frostlanders and New Londoners. Oh, we need to grant the agenda on the New Londoners. So we're going to do that. Trust will rise. What do we gain from them? We now have like almost the maximum, if not the maximum. And in which case we could ask them to raise some funds. We're going to do that actually. That's fine. What do we do here? Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that with them. For these guys, I just wouldn't want to do that anyways. But we now have a lot of heat stamps, which is great. That's exactly what we need to make things work. We now need prefabs, which is something we're trying to work on. It's just not as easy as it seems. All right, we're losing people over here, so I'm actually going to decrease that. And what we can do is we can get a coal mine. Put that in there. We'll be good on that front. Did we expand these guys yet? We did. Great. All right, the desolate coast has been explored. Ooh. All right, this is obviously pretty important. A ruined machine lies across a crevasse, wagon spilling into the nearby snow. There are clear signs here. People have come and gone from the site, even storing goods here. What amazed our scouts is the huge quantity of readily available oil. This could be the fuel source we've been searching for. We found oil. Nice. We build a new colony on the site. Here it is. You can't really see it that well. That's fine. All right, so what do we need to do then? We found oil. Build a new colony. Sweet. There we go. This is a close-up. Yeah, you can already see deposits of things. And of course, if you know anything and if you will play the game, you'll see that that's where the tutorial is. But we have an oil tomb. On the broken shore lies an old derelict dreadnought. Seems to have been upgraded to run on oil as it rests beside rich deposits. Perhaps the site was a refueling station? But deep in the black pools lies rows of frozen bodies wrapped in shrouds and placed into the still wells. Our scouts shudder at the sight. These oil deposits would surely solve our fuel needs, but we would have to desecrate these graves. We're doing it. No, we're just going to do it. More oil deposits will become available. Sweet. Oil will save the city, but we need to adapt our generator to use it. In the meantime, we'll establish a reliable supply. It's time we settled beyond New London. Create a colony at the old dreadnought and connect it with a solid trail to New London. Only then can supply be assured. All right, cool. Vote on New Londoners' proposed schedule. Council to vote. Okay, cool. So what we need to do is we need to connect the path. Requires 20 Frostland teams. We only have 15. 1 core and a trail connection to the city. So we can build the trail, but we can't colonize it yet. So we're going to go ahead and build that trail. I think that's definitely worth it. And that should, like, really excite people. We should be getting some good things from them. But we're going to go ahead. Again, we need to expand as much as possible. Boom. We need to extract as much material goods as we can because we have a huge demand. All right. Someone's worried about her son, looking for a culprit. Little Joey's been coughing all night. His forehead's hot as the generator. It's them Turners. They got that new flu, and here they are strolling about the neighborhood, carrying on with their business, killing people. The lack of a law regulating contagion prevention. Oh my word. We're in a pickle, aren't we? All right, mass-produced goods is now in force. They voted on it. There's nothing we could do about it. Sweet. Okay, that's fine. We're not concerned there. What I am concerned about is getting enough prefabs and a big enough workforce to be able to supply. Oh my word, we can't even build another housing district. 123 people froze to death. But we're about to experience a warmer season, so that should help. Yep. Trust does fall. Yep, I get it. You can see the tension is starting to be notable. We're hitting a little bit of a peak. Sweet. Okay. Hopefully the warmer season will allow people to not be so sick. You know what? We did have... There we go. We could take those Frostlanders in, and then we could also harvest those. Make that something that would happen. Cool. Okay, cool. We're in the positive with food. That helps a bit. We have no hunger, which has reduced the tensions by a decent bit as well. Alrighty then. Now we need more people. We need more housing as well. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get right around them. What do we have now? Sick neighborhoods, no common rules. This morning a house has been found walled off. The inhabitants escaped after a while, but they found that local shops and amenities refused to service them. Don't know who did it, but it's for the best, I tell you. Then people got all sort of bugs. The place healthier without them, claimed a local pub owner. All right, we need to resolve the issues. All right, so that's going to be over here in city. Rule is going to be something we're not going to work on in this episode. Contagion prevention. If we did supported quarantine, contagion people would be placed in quarantine or infectious badge. Tension is slightly increased. Disease is decreased. This disease is significantly decreased. So we're going to do that. We're going to negotiate. The Pilgrims won't negotiate because they're upset about it anyways. We're going to rock with the Frostlanders this time. They do have a huge population. Durable goods. In order to make the best of scarce resources, we'll focus on producing sturdy and easily repairable goods. That sounds like a really good idea. Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. That's fine. All right, we're going to vote for it. We'll get 51 or 50 guaranteed. And then surely some of the neutral. Awesome. I knew it would pass.
The eyes have it.
Very nice. All right, we need to pass durable goods, so we need to look into that. And then we also haven't really researched anything from the idea tree since we've got it. So let's go ahead and go into housing insulation. Base heat demand is decreased. Asbestos lining. Oh no, not asbestos. It seems like everyone wants it though. So we're going to research that idea. Oh shoot, asbestos.
Attention.
Oh, that's actually great. I love it. All right, we're going to work on that. We're going to expand our... Is this our food? I want to expand our housing. There we go. That works. And then what else can we do here? We do have our hubs. We have a heating hubs. The heat demand in neighboring districts is decreased. We have fuel hub, which increases the stockpile. Workforce demand in neighboring extraction districts is decreased. That's actually really kind of nice. That's actually really nice. If we could figure out where to join that. So for instance, if we expanded, there's only 33 weeks in that prefab. If we expanded into here, and then I built that, we could have a workforce decrease there, which would be really nice. What are the other hubs that we got? Food stockpile, neighboring food districts, neighboring industrial. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. We're going to build that right there. That's a lot of heat demand that we can reduce. Right, deposits are running low. Some of the coal deposits will soon run out. They believe they can use explosives to access deeper veins. They say we should send children for missed ore in the tighter tunnels. Some kids did this, some did this as kids themselves, and they survived unscathed. If we lay explosives, all available coal will increase by 10%. If we recruit child volunteers, yeah, we've already screwed over the Frostlanders and the Pilgrims enough. We're going to lay explosives. Of course, that's probably not going to end well. I get it, but that's okay. We'll be fine. Awesome. We put that district in, and we got an increase of like 60. So that's awesome. That's great. Okay, we still need to build more, but man alive, we're still so limited on what we can do here. I can't hardly even build frost breaking. We just need a lot more prefabs, and I think we actually have prefab extraction. That's a shallow iron vein. Does that mean we could build an extractor on it and be fine? I'm unsure. I really want to kind of bring it out there and test it though. Nope. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I'm a dingleberry. Okay. Sweet. Asbestos lining, new passive boost to the Frostlanders, which is exactly what we needed. So unfortunately, I do have to continue working on that. But the positive is I can at least hit the other way station as a result. 140 people froze to death. That's not good. But the good news is we now have access to prefabs that has 2.4 million as its supply. So we're not going to be having to worry about that for a good long while now. Boom. Near housing districts. Okay, yep, the fire's broken out in our coal mine. If we don't react, we'll lose the mine. Some of the stalwarts engaged in the rescue effort insist we still save the mine by cutting off the air supply so the shaft suffocate the flames. But some miners are still making their way out. No, we got to block off the air supply. I'm sorry. Yep. I appreciate the sacrifice more than you know. Okay, cool. So housing insulation worked. What other housing things do we have? Oh, there's so many things we can do. That's right. We have so many different areas that we can do this. Housing block. This is what we need. No one else shares this idea. Subsidized housing block. Residence tower providing functional shelter. Oh man, no one agrees. But they agree. You goofballs. Dense housing block. Disease is slightly increased. I don't know that I want to do that. Heat stamp upkeep. See, the thing is, like, this is one heat stamp upkeep, which is a lot. Admittedly, we're not getting a ton of heat stamps in, but it provides the best number of shelters. So we're going to go ahead and research that idea. We're going to rock with it. We're also going to go ahead and pass another law. Looks like we need mass goods. We're going to go ahead and do durable goods. We're going to propose it. We're going to go ahead and vote for it and see if it works. We're really, really close here. Nice, just barely passed. Trust with the Frostlanders improves and trust rises overall, which is great. That's awesome, fantastic. We need to build another logistics anyways. Look at that. Fantastic. Our output's going to increase and we'll be good there. Now what we could do, oh man, that's going to be great. We now have a positive of material supplies. And what we're going to need to do now as a result is we are going to need an industrial district that is going to require us to work on prefabs because we really, really need our prefabs to go up. We only have 14 weeks and 210 prefabs going on there. So I'm glad we rocked that. We now have 115 supplies, which is also great. But what do we have here? Yep, father was a miner. Yep, we saved the coal mine. It sucks. I know, I get it. I don't want to deal with it right now. I understand. You've no idea. I get it. Okay, so we still don't have a ton of coal. What we need to do is we need to go over to here. We need a core Frostland teams and 100 prefabs. Here we go. Among the debris in a mangled cart, we found an old navigation log. We can't wander forever. If we only get through this canyon, we can set up a permanent base next to the oil. Cart holds a large number of cores. That's what we need. Okay, we're going to do that. What about this? A tanker filled with oil hangs in a narrow crevice. It'll be dangerous to extract it. Okay, we can't do anything there, which is fine. This requires too many teams, which we're not working on just yet. Okay, cool. That's going to be great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this first episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Really enjoying the game so far. It's a little more of a puzzle city builder than it is necessarily a city builder. Doesn't seem quite as intense as Frostpunk in terms of making the really hard decisions, but that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it. So if you have enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to sub to the channel, and of course, leave your comments in the comment section down below. Thank you so much again for watching. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next one.